Okay, I can see this point. We're just going to dive in. Build a widespread sense of agency, vocation at decisions, and it had some subcomponents. So we might have to enlarge that one again to take a look at. Okay. As Jim says, it takes us a while to get back into this. So we're just going to slowly get back into this and build a widespread sense of agency, vocational decisions. So evoke widespread individual commitment, reimagine jobs as vocation, personal images from victim to chooser, build resilience everywhere, imaginal selves, and learn to see the impact of our action. Those were our actual statements that came in. And then we grouped them together to be the build a widespread sense. So when you see this, what dynamics of the social process light up for you? We're going to focus on that C1. So maybe Michelle put C1 into the center of the social process. Yeah, that one. Okay, so what lights up for you? And I'm going to give you just an individual moment to say, no, look at that. What lights up? And we're just, for whatever reason, what lights up for you?
Are you asking for responses now,
Yeah.
Jen? Okay, yes, because deep thinking takes time, but I can't help but bring forward my actual activities yesterday. I sit on a board of directors and I'm at this point chair of the governance committee. And in the morning and in the afternoon, I spent interviewing 2 potential board of directors candidates for the board I sit on. And what I was struck with was the cultural commonality and the way in which we were both, the candidate and me as representative of this board, were we in alignment values wise in terms of, I would have to say both communal wisdom, like do they have the skills that will support this organization, and their communal style. So that's what's really alive for me now. How can I help the nonprofit that I'm closely aligned with truly, from a cultural perspective, make a difference?
Okay, one other. What lights up for you here?
Significant engagement is the triangle that I would immediately point to in relation to this. So top of the political.
Corporate, yeah, welfare, significant
sure.
engagement.
Okay, and one more, yeah, place. Anyone?
For me, it was production forces connected to significant engagement and communal style. That it's reconnecting what I do to the significance of the reason I'm doing it is significant engagement, not just economic survival. And that it has to do with reconnecting that to service to community, which is communal style.
Okay.
So that was the 3 I saw as connected to that.
Okay.
So this building of widespread sense of agency, vocational decisions to deal with the changes means some of us in our workplace have to find ways to make decisions that seem like they're counterproductive to the success of our workplace in order to connect with some greater good. It's not simply a matter of going to work because I have a job and doing my job.
Mhm.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah. The little elves behind the scene. moving the pieces around. Okay. Now, so we've got, take the board just a little bit to the right, Michelle, please, with that other question up there. So we've got the dynamics light up for you. Now this, we're working on this question. What part of the social processes have primary responsibility for initiating this component? So if you were to, if we were to be working on a widespread sense, where would we be working? What part of the social process would we be working at?
Well, I would like to identify social arts.
Okay.
Yes, as a mediation, especially for significant engagement to contribute to the widespread sense of agency.
Okay.
Yeah, social arts would be easiest way when people could engage more
Okay.
with hearts and soul together.
Okay. And welcome, welcome. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so there we were going to put, does anyone else have one other example of initiating? Where would you put this for initiating social art? And I liked a couple ways, other words you talked about, easiest way to begin to build this sense of agency, vocation. Yep.
Would nominate the entire cultural triangles
Okay.
as the place to initiate all those subcomponents.
Okay. Okay. Which includes that. Well, let's put that little C1. Okay. Let's put the square, not the square, that little just, yeah, let's put that right there. Okay. Hold
I
on.
was thinking that for widespread, that it needed to be, a lot of people needed to hear about it, understand it, or that leadership needed to demonstrate it.
Okay.
He puts it down in the political to some extent.
Okay. Who are the actors in this?
Yeah.
Is our political leadership. Okay.
And I'm not sure what lower triangle yet. I'm kind of looking
Okay.
around. If anybody has an idea, insert me here.
I was reading a new thing on indigenous justice. Oh, no, it was indigenous environmental justice. It's a book on that I'm reading, but I was just looking at that corporate justice triangle there. And so as part of that, having leaders aware of that part. Yeah.
I'll say this. Primary responsibility, is that what your question is?
Yes, primary responsibility.
Yeah, it's going to be helpful if we go, well, two things. We never got the arrow that Larry drew over to common production forces.
Yeah,
So I don't want to lose that one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But it,
Yeah, that's on.
I was going to say this. We can answer all of these by saying, well, it would be the social process somehow doing this, which would be correct. But also, if there's a way to to move ourselves more specifically down a couple of levels. I know this only goes down 3 levels, and so that's real. Anyway, I was thinking the top of, I was thinking it's communal style in the cultural that forces the common patterns of how we operate with one another.
Mm.
And within that, the top social structures, which has to do with our interaction in the midst of society. And within that, there's 3 social aggregations, which is just identifying the different roles, community groupings, and basic roles, which is functional assignments, accrued status, and social controls. And it felt to me like we need a shift in our social controls rather than fitting in with the status quo being what defines good citizenship. It has to be shifting to this different status quo. And I'm complete and drinking coffee.
So,
At
so
5:30 in the
it
morning.
says communal styles and social structures. Is that what you're pointing to?
Yes,
Or cyclical roles?
social structure.
Social structures. Okay.
Okay. Now, Jim, you were looking at another, a triangle that also went down a few more levels. Do we have that here on the Miro board or not?
I thought we did.
It's on the top right, above all this, above these ones. I think we use some of that
Okay. So, okay.
right at the top, you know, along the same row as the main table to the right.
Mhm.
Those are the,
What we don't have is the ability to see both of those. Yep.
Yeah, before what you had was a link you could go back and forth to from over in the archives.
Okay.
The-
Okay.
You could go dive down into an interactive map.
Okay. I think we'll just have to go with this level, but Jim or others that have that can bring it in at different points. Okay.